Today on Xtreme 4x4.
Get her done!
The battle cry of every extreme off-roader will go rock crawling with the best in the East. Plus, with their Hemi hovering on air, Ian and Jessi put the wraps on this ultimate street truck.
Welcome to Xtreme 4x4, where we push trucks to their absolute limit, in the shop and off-road. In this case, we turn this Dodge Hemi into a killer street truck. Put a 13-inch air ride kit on it, Mickey Thompson rubber,
and weld racing wheels, and that combination is going to make this thing ride smooth as silk. But I found something that's going to help us take this truck out and test it where it was built to perform.
Where's that, Ian?
At the drive-thru. Let's go. I can't reach the order button. Oh, I got it. Perfect.
First thing you notice is the intimidating appearance of this truck. This thing screams, "Get the heck out of my way!"
And most people do, especially the soccer moms. But looks aren't everything. Inside, you immediately notice the ride difference, even with the 38-inch radials. And after adjusting the individual airbags to the proper height, the ride was smooth as silk.
We noticed a little body roll when changing lanes at highway speed. And this is not surprising due to the fact that the truck's center of gravity is almost 3 feet higher than the floor.
After testing the brakes, it's no surprise that our Dodge was crying for an upgrade. Considering the amount of weight that we added to the truck, stopping distance was severely affected. Of course, this Dodge Hemi packs a serious punch from the factory. The suspension provided noticeably less axle wrap and wheel hop during hard acceleration.
Plus, there's nothing like riding as high as the 18-wheeler next to you. Awesome.
So, should we name it?
Oh, like the boys over at Trucks and Horsepower TV.
Yeah, I was thinking it's got a Hemi in it, and it's really tall, so we'll call it Hemi-Sphere.
It's like Christmas every day here at Xtreme. While Ian gets a truck up on the lift, check out what we're going to install today. This sway bar kit will help get rid of some of that body roll we experienced on the highway. Plus, we'll be dealing with the exhaust, a major brake upgrade for more stopping power, and some extra few bolt-on things. And later, we're going to be installing the sickest power programmer you will ever see.
One thing that power programmer is going to let us do is adjust the speedo to correct for tire size. As you know, when you put on a tire with a larger circumference, the speedo is off by about 20 miles an hour, so we'll fix that. The brake upgrade that Jessi talked about comes from Bear. These rotors are drilled and slotted for venting. The best thing about this upgrade is that it simply replaces the factory rotors, so you're going to get increased stopping power without having to do any heavy modification. But first, tires got to come off.
If you lube up the inside of these polyurethane blocks before they go on the sway bar, they won't squeak on ya. Next, bolt the sway bar to the factory shock mounts. The upper mount brackets bolt to the frame. And tie it all together with the sway bar links.
To complete our brake upgrade, we went ahead and got a set of pads from Performance Friction Brakes. These pads are of a carbon metallic makeup to give us longer pad life and a firmer feel. When you compare them to a factory brake pad, you'll notice that they've got this slot cut through the bonded material. That slot works the same as the holes and slots in the rotor. When you press this brake pad onto the rotor, it actually develops a gas that this pad can float on and reduce your braking power. These holes allow that gas to escape. The rotors are directional, so make sure you put them on the right side, and it's a good idea to give them a wipe because they come shipped with a rust-proofing material.
When you're doing custom suspension work like this, it's best to have everything in place before you actually start running your exhaust tubing. Here I have to work around the shocks, the airbags, the track bar, the sway bar links, and the air tanks. Now, of course, the dual exhaust system that we had on there last week, I had to cut out because it got in the way. But this Flowmaster Universal Fit system solves our problem. You still have the benefits of a high-performance 3-inch exhaust with lots of flexibility. And this new Super 40 street muffler and chrome exhaust tip will make it sound and look just as tough as a dual.
Coming up, man and machine tackle Mother Nature. Guess who wins? You rock. Xtreme East Rock Crawling when Xtreme 4x4 returns. The Xtreme 4x4 Event of the Week is brought to you by Warren, #1 in winches.
Welcome back to Xtreme 4x4. If you think it's hard for me to get out of this truck, watch me get back in. What this thing needs is its own personal stool boy. Fantastic. Actually, what it needs is its own set of running boards. And boy, do I have the part for you. These amp research power steps are not your everyday running boards. You have an aluminum step that mounts underneath of your rocker panel, and when you open the door, they swoop out so you actually have something to step on. You close the door, they swoop back up in. You got the motor arm, the idler arm, some wiring, a control box, and all you gotta do is follow these awesome instructions. And when I say awesome, they even have the OEM connector pin diagrams for you to follow. First thing you do is bolt on the mounting brackets, idler and motor arms, followed by the side steps and the wiring.
Now, if you don't know what extreme rock crawling is, you're living underneath a rock. And if you do live underneath the rock, watch out. These guys in Tennessee may be about to drive over your house. A little mud wasn't going to hold back the drivers of the UROC Extreme East Rock Crawling Series.
Oh man, it's cooler than ice cream.
70 modified and super mod rigs tackled, lammed, and scraped through the old mining trails of Jellico, Tennessee. And sometimes the trails bit back.
It's things you would never think of doing on your own, but out here in the competition, you got to follow the cones, you got to make it through, and you got to do what how they send you through.
For 2 days, driver and truck attacked Mother Nature without fear of the consequences.
Pretty extreme, pretty extreme. It's not for the weak at heart.
That was awesome! They call it rock crawling, but these guys wouldn't get far if all they did was crawl.
You gotta be a little gutsy, I guess. You can't be afraid to push your vehicle to its limits and see what it'll actually do.
It's all about the carnage. For a guy that wants to come out here and have this much fun, he's going to need a good helmet and lots of courage.
Smell of burn oil, racing fuel, dirt flying, horsepower. Just tear them up. And I get into it.
If you take a vehicle that's pretty, that you drive daily, and you want to keep it looking good, then this is not what you want to do.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
You know, you come out here, you hit everything so hard to get over it, something's bound to break.
Broke again? Again? You have to have a vehicle that'll hold up to the, obviously it's not very easy on them.
Under this punishment, even a tank would have trouble staying in one piece.
Twisted the dry shaft into, man, on that rock right there. Got it and spun it. And... Hey, you guys got any fuel?
Broke a link. It broke a lot of other stuff when it broke though. Rear yoke, drive shaft. I get her back together. Be back tomorrow.
Get her done!
Only extreme rigs like Rob Ellis's can compete in the premier Supermod class.
You know, the super modifieds aren't even based on a production vehicle anymore. you start off with a big stack of tubing, a bender, and a welder, and put something together. We're running, crazy suspensions that can articulate. You can, have one tire up 5 feet in the air and the other 3 are still on the ground. You run full hydraulic steering, so there's no connection besides some fluid lines from the steering wheel to the ram. This rear axle is kind of my pride of this buggy. It's a Unimog 9-inch hybrid axle, which is just a Ford 9-inch center section with Mercedes Unimog portals bolted on the outside with custom shafts. It's also steering capable, so I can drive the rear end and steer it just like the front. If you look at the front axle, you'll notice the axle is connected directly between the center of the 2 wheels. On a portal axle, you've got a gearbox at each wheel, and then it raises the center of the axle. If you look at it from the back, I've got a ton more clearance under the rear end, and it really helps to get over rocks and stuff. A lot of guys run air compressors to run their air lockers. We run a CO2 cylinder. It's a constant source of CO2. It allows us to lock the front and the rear differentials, which distributes equal power to each wheel. Here, you want all your tires to have full power at all times, so you lock those 2 axles together with a locking differential. That's what it takes to get up some of these obstacles.
The right equipment alone won't crown you king of the hill. You gotta have guts.
You come out here expecting to break something, you break something, you go fix it, and you get back in it. I mean, you can't win if you don't race.
This sport tests a rider's mind, body, and machine, yet it's the thrill that keeps bringing them back to the trail.
I'm addicted, it's an obsession.
Probably didn't have the adrenaline rush, we probably wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? It's real exciting.
And when are we gonna go out and play like this?
It's only 2.5 hours away. I think we'll take the cheap Jeep there when it's finished up.
That's a good idea.
They won't let us take the new Dodge.
Oh, street truck's not allowed on rocks?
No, too expensive.
At least I got the steps done.
I like it. Works well.
I know, check this out. See how easy that was?
Does it work with the back door?
Yes, it does.
What a great product.
Make sure you stick around. We got a lot more fun things to be putting on this truck.
We've opened up the exhaust on the back of this truck. Now it's time to help the air get into the engine. We're going to do that with this quick fit kit from Air Raid. This kit comes with a reusable high flow filter element and attaches on top of the factory air box. It's as simple as swapping out the paper element. You just lose the top of the air box, your stock filter, and the new kit's going to drop right in.
All right, the last thing to get bolted onto this truck are these Bushwhacker pocket-style fender flares. It may look like they're bolted on through the body with these fashionable chrome bolts, but they're not. They're actually screwed on up in here. No cutting or drilling. We went ahead and sprayed these flares with Duplicolor Barrage 3-stage paint for a standalone look. This is the color Ice and actually has a color shifting effect.
I know it always seems that we have an unlimited budget and unlimited tools at our disposal for our projects, like on our Dodge here. But like you guys at home, we got to tighten the belt sometime. We're going to start on this 82 Jeep CJ7. We're going to build this Jeep for real-world off-road with a real-world budget. The first thing we're going to do is lose the fenders and replace them with this tube structure. That's going to give us more room for articulation for the tire, but more importantly, it's going to protect us against the rocks. For that, we'll use our tubing bender. If you don't have a bender, you can still accomplish some mild bends using a little heat, some muscle, and good old-fashioned ingenuity. The first thing you want to do is come up with a template of the bend you're trying to achieve. In this case, I've C-clamped the rear rotor off of our Dodge Hemi project. All I have to do now is heat up the pipe to bend it around. This technique will not work for a seriously tight radius bend. but if you plan carefully, you will always end up with a really good looking piece. Not bad for a little heat in an old rotor. We'll be right back.
For more information on today's show, go online, Xtreme4x4TV.com.
Welcome back to Xtreme 4x4. Now I know that I told you about this super sick power programmer that we have. Well, here it is. This is Hypertech's new HyperPack, the first automotive performance computer. Check this out. This programmer stays in your truck and is like having a drag strip and a chassis dyno right next to your map lights. We had the gang at Hypertech testing matching Dodge Hemi to give us real-world numbers, and this is what they brought back for us. As you can see, we're going to gain 24 foot-pounds of torque at 1,000 RPM, which is going to give us a lot more punch out of the hole with these big tires on. Best of all, it's plug and play. First, I plugged the HyperPack into the vehicle's diagnostic port. Then all you gotta do is push the single on-off button. Its touchscreen technology lets you automatically tune spark and fuel performance, switch from premium to regular gas, firm up shift points, and raise speed and rev limits. It has a diagnostic screen to read and clear trouble codes, and a data acquisition screen for dyno output, quarter mile, 0 to 60 times, and more. Plus, you can plug this right into your computer, download and save all of your data, and print out all of your dyno curves.
That finishes up our first project here on Xtreme. Now you hardcore off-road guys out there, don't worry. We've got rock crawling builds and Baja builds coming up in the next few weeks. But as for this truck, I think the owner's gonna be real happy.
I got some news for you. It's a rental.
What?